Welcome back to the Ryan Bowen interview, part 2.
And it seems like you're like right now you're a very positive, a lot more positive person. Because also you are recently engaged with Chetna Sharma, if I is that
Yep.
pronounced that correctly.
Yeah, that's right.
So I also wanted to touch on that a little bit. How has she impacted your mindset and performance? Because
Yeah, well,
I'm really curious.
well,
You already talked
my
about
my
it a little
my
bit, but
mindset. I'm at the most. I've got more peace in my life than I've ever had before, without a doubt.
okay.
Like if you follow my Instagram, you see how much we're we're in love, and being that way and having the same foundation of passion for arm wrestling has entirely changed everything else. Like the happiness, as you said, is definitely there. And Chetna has she's amplified what I can be. I feel like I am growing faster in a physical sense, in a life sense, all these different things. For everything from physicality to spirituality feels better. And it's exciting because, like I said, we get to we also complement each other in the arm wrestling sense.
Hmm.
She's gone all in on strength as her start point, and she's elite in that category. And technique was her last frontier for development, and I did it the other way. So we're complementing each other perfectly. I'm teaching her how to move on the table. She's teaching me to get strong, and we're both just taking these huge steps forward. So it's super exciting, and yeah, I couldn't be in a better place in life since meeting Chetna. Yeah, couldn't beat it.
Oh, that's amazing to hear, man. That's amazing to hear. That's amazing.
She I don't want to. It's her story to tell, but her story is exciting as well. She's undefeated in India for the last 12 years. She was she was limited by
Wow.
she was limited by a lack of opportunity to get out overseas, and just get the starts with people that she can't yet beat. So once she starts to get that experience, like I said, strength is not her problem at all. She's ridiculously strong, and
She almost did the 50K strict girl, the 50
yeah,
kg strict girl. She almost.
which puts
That's
her
crazy.
for her body weight at rank 2 in the world for the strict curl. So that gives you an idea of her strength level within her weight
As,
category. It's ridiculous. So
as how
she just
heavy?
needs
Like what?
yeah.
What
So
category is she in?
70 she would be compete under 70 kilos or even 65 kilos for international she can get to.
Whew.
So when she had her debut in Georgia, she faced at 68 kilos was their weight category, and she faced an 8-time world champion as her first match. She got an 8-time world champion, and lost in the respect of experience and access to strength and manipulations in the setup. She felt that was where the match was. So as soon as she gets that extra data of more ready goes against people, she's going to be a force to reckon with. And she had another super match just the other day at Last Man Stadium, and she took on a super heavyweight state champion from Australia, and got the victory decisively. So she'll
Is
feature in
that
some East
online?
West tournaments and things like that in the future. And
Okay.
yeah,
Hmm. I'd be happy to see her on the big stage. But is that online, that video of her? Because I did see you
yeah. Oh no,
on
actually,
the last man standing term.
her super match has not yet been released. It'll be released probably this week, I would
Okay.
say. But yeah, so
All right, I'll check it out.
you
100%.
can see clips of
Curious
it on the Instagram though. There's sort of a few clips on there
on Instagram.
you can catch. But yeah,
Yeah.
she's in good form now. She's in good form.
And now you even changed your channel name. Before it was Ryan Blue
Yeah,
Bowen, and then it was Ryan Bowen, and now it's Ryan and Chetna.
yeah,
So
and that's
the
because like
two forces.
a few people ask why that come about, and it's because we're so blessed that we're both in the same category of life, being arm wrestlers, and I feel we're both at a very similar level within the world ranks within our respective categories. We're both somewhere close to knocking on the door of the top 10. That's where I feel we both are, and um, we'll get there soon. We'll get there soon because we're training hard. We're one of those people. Like I said, we're blessed that we don't have to be doing a full-time job. Where our full-time work is training. So we're very blessed.
that you guys are. I'm also wondering about because you've fully moved to India right now, right? Is it yours permanently
Yeah,
or
So, I'm
yeah,
in the
right?
northeast of India at the moment, and we once we are married, we will be essentially at absolute minimum it will be 50-50 between India and Australia. But I
Okay.
would say that India will probably end up being the large percentage of the basis of where we move from. Just cost of living in India, it suits us so much better. So yeah, India is home for me now. Expect me to be coming from India for pretty much everything.
So how has the Indian arm wrestling scene influenced like your online presence? Is there any developments, any new things you guys trying there
Well, the
whatsoever?
one thing
Because
the
I mean, yeah.
the one thing the Indian arm wrestling scene has is quantity. Um, like it, compared to Australia, it's phenomenal. The amount of arm wrestlers here is just out of this world. They have to have district qualifiers because if they don't, they'll have too many people turn up to their state tournament. And then they have to limit how many people can go from the state tournaments to the nationals and so on and so forth. And then at nationals, they'll have 7,000 people in the room, and the nationals will be over a week because it takes that long to get everyone sorted out. So you can visit a region of India and find the arm wrestling club, and you'll have 500 people turn up to the practice. So it's different. You'll never find that anywhere else in the world. So I think there are more arm wrestlers in India than any other nation, and India's level is similar to that of Australia when we talk about our top people. I think if you put the top 20 of Australia and India
Yeah.
against each other, they're very similar. So there's a way to go for both those nations for breaking into the truly world elite. Like I don't, but where you see India really starting to succeed is in the junior categories and the lightweight categories. So take for example, like the average height of a male in India is a few inches shorter than the average height of a male in the USA. There's not many super heavyweights here, but if you're looking down at the
Hmm.
80 kilo class, the 70 kilo class, even go down to the sort of 60 kilo class, there is heaps of them. And I think the first world champions you'll see out of India, I think are going to come in that 60 through to 75 kilo zone. There's young guys there that have won the WAF world titles in the juniors now. Last year's junior world champ was Indian. The year before was Indian as well. So they're coming. They're coming because the scene here is big enough that look, the cream has to rise when there's
It's
that many
attracting people.
competing. There's that many, yeah. So
Exactly.
I expect to see it. The only thing that holds them back is um, the Indian rupee makes it difficult to travel to places like the US. It's difficult
Yeah.
to that international cost, and that's what was really holding Chetna back before, which she just didn't have that opportunity to get overseas for reasons like that. So um, I think that India is a great arm wrestling nation, heaps of potential. Their league is big, and it's on their main television here. So it's it's super entertaining. We
Isn't
can
it isn't it
travel
called
anywhere.
Ropanja?
Pro
Isn't it
Panja
called
League.
Ropa
Yeah. So the Pro Panja League,
yeah, Pro Panja League.
they have their federation, the People's Arm Wrestling Federation of India, PAFI. That's where the WAF pathway is. That's where the majority of Indian athletes compete. But then they have that professional league as well, where they're broadcast on Sony Sports Network, and that goes for a month each year, and it's a teams event sort of thing. So that's where that's where you'd be surprised at how popular arm wrestling is. Their coverage of Pro Panja had, I think, 43 million live viewers in the finals
Woo!
last year. So, and that's just all in India on live television. So, it's big. Arm wrestling is actually
So
really big here. I visited a state of Mizoram, and I'm not joking. You walk down the street in Mizoram as an arm wrestler, you are treated like a superstar. They are obsessed with arm wrestling in Mizoram. Their state government pays them very well in Mizoram for being an arm wrestler as well. And the number one guy in Mizoram is like Lionel Messi walking down the street. He's a rock star, absolute rock star.
well, I think in this case, because there haven't been that many Indian arm wrestlers on, I'm not even sure if there's even one in East versus West. I'm not even sure if there's even one.
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
if you think Indian arm wrestlers, can you name any? I'm just curious.
Sorry?
Can you name any Indian arm wrestlers? I'm curious if from your perspective in the Western arm
Oh
wrestling community.
no. Honestly, I wouldn't. I do follow some, but I do not remember their names, to be honest.
You know Chetna Sharma, surely you know that one.
Yeah, of course, but I
Yeah,
was
so
excluding her in
that's
the.
okay. That's okay. So Mazahir Saidu was at King of the Table 1. The very first King of the Table, he faced Coach
Okay,
Ray. He lost to Coach Ray.
okay.
But outside of
King of
that,
the Table 1. Okay.
outside of that, there hasn't been one yet. The closest they've come is Abbas Rana. Abbas Rana was the junior WAF world champion. And it was floated that he was going to face Auden Larratt. The match didn't happen for whatever reason, but Abbas Rana against Auden Larratt is a match that you see Devon talk about often because Abbas has some real world arm wrestling credibility by winning that WAF world title. And he's the same age as Auden, essentially. So Devon has often looked at him and thought, there's a good match there. So maybe we'll see. If anyone's going to pop up in the men's division at East West West, I would have my money on Abbas being that person to face Auden whenever that was to come about. But there are good arm wrestlers here. Don't get me wrong. Very, very arm wrestling in India has been around since 1970 something. And like I said, the lightweight guys here are very, very good. So I think that you'll see it in time. You'll see it in time. If anything, Chetna's hopefully being that tip of the spear that shows
The
other Indian
bridge.
athletes that you can reach that world level. So yeah.
And I also think it would be a very good opportunity for East versus West to tap into that unused pool of people. Because if their favorite arm wrestler is going to be on that stage, if for example, if Chetna probably very well known in your community, they're gonna be watching, right?
Yep.
They're gonna be watching them live because they're such fans of the like you said, they're like rock stars over there.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I think
The 80 kilo champ, Danik Lalratlunga, I think his surname is. He's the rock star I was talking about. A couple of years ago, he had the third most watched video on Instagram. Like, put that into perspective. Like, just him arm wrestling was the third most watched video on Instagram that year, above people like Messi and stuff like that. So the numbers are big. If you give them something that they're interested in, the numbers are extraordinary. So the
are large.
most populous
Robert
nation in the world, 1.8 billion or something like that. It's a lot of people. So
Robert Baxter and Dexter Tan need to get some Indian arm wrestlers on East versus West. I think it will be good for the community, but it probably also fill their pockets a little bit.
yeah.
You're the founder of the pound for pound arm wrestling brand. What are the goals with that brand? Are you still trying to create it bigger, make it bigger, or are you more focusing on your personal training and such?
So the pound for pound arm wrestling brand was something I established when I was in the early days trying to make arm wrestling a career. I was trying to get some monetized components to the sport for me, and I recognized that getting sponsors in arm wrestling was pretty difficult, and I didn't want to just take donations from sponsors. I wanted to actually provide value to a business. So I thought to myself, well, instead of seeking a sponsor, let's create a business and then use my own social media as the advertising value for that business. So I created Pound for Pound Arm Wrestling, and its best line was just t-shirts, merchandise t-shirts, some handles and things. I sold quite a number of handles and all that. But in the end, where it got to with me was the ROI on time and energy was actually in the end for me. I was just happy to back off on it. So where I'm at now, I'm fortunate enough that I make enough revenue from just being an arm wrestler. social media.
Yeah.
We're just following our journey. That I don't now. I don't even sell anything under the pound for pound banner anymore. I know it still exists. People
Okay.
still associate it with me, and I've had so many people ask, "Can I have more of those
Yeah.
T-shirts?" That are super comfortable. But I haven't
I haven't done.
killed off pound
I
for
couldn't
pound, but
really
I'm not
find anything on that
selling
one.
anything. I could revive it at any point, I guess,
Okay.
but it's not something that's currently active. But it's cool that people
Mm.
still know it as a brand. I see
Yeah.
the T-shirts I used to sell were so ridiculously comfortable and long lasting. I got lucky finding a manufacturer, but they're I gave T-shirts to John Brzenk 7 years ago, and he's still wearing them today, and they still fit like they're new. And it's like, what the hell? How did I have those T-shirts? Did it? But I had a really good manufacturer.
Yeah, well, I mean, I had to ask because in Rotterdam, Rotterdam Arm Wrestling, they had a pound for pound strap. So
Yep,
your brand even reached to the Netherlands.
there you go.
So hence, I couldn't really find if you were still doing anything with it online. I tried to research it, couldn't really find the website. I think the website is offline,
Yeah,
right?
it's down at the moment. It's
Yeah,
down. Yeah.
down. So I would just that's why I was wondering, and asked
Oh,
you.
good.
So a little bit different question. Is there anybody right at this moment that you look up to as an arm wrestler and you still take, let's say, advice from or watch to
Um,
better your craft, so to speak?
I have always watched arm wrestlers closely. I have no one arm wrestler
Hmm.
that stands out to me as the guy I try to really emulate. I try to take a bit of everybody.
Hmm.
One of the ways in which I learned to appreciate the techniques of arm wrestling was I used to, in my mind, shadow box different styles. I would go to training one night and say, all right, tonight I'm going to try to emulate Evgeny Prudnik's positions. And I'm going to ask my body when I'm in those positions, well, what the hell am I getting from this position? Why is this position a position that Evgeny Prudnik goes to? And I would try to collect that data, absorb it, bring it into my game, and then next week I'll do the same thing, but I'll be John Brzenk, or I'll be Engen Terzi, or I'll be Devin Larry, or whoever. And I tried to just experience everybody's styles and understand what's going on. So I've always taken a little bit from everybody. But when it comes to current arm wrestlers that I am impressed with, that I'm trying to emulate on the table, I'm very impressed with the top roll of Engen Terzi. I don't. Engen Terzi's pronation doesn't seem to ever break ever, and he has an exceptional ability to combine wrist flexion, lat drag, rise, pronation, and side pressure all into one seamless movement. And I would love to have an offensive top roll as vicious as his is. I went to an Istanbul club, and I got to, when we were at King of the Table 14, Chetna and I got to visit the Istanbul club, and Engin was there, and there were, it was a Reef Erdem's club, and there was 50 something WAF world titles in the room collectively. So the experience of that room was immense. And the one thing that I recognized in that Istanbul club was their coordinated activation of wrist flexion and pronation, side pressure and back pressure, all into one movement. It felt seamless. There was no clunkiness. There was no this movement plus that movement. It was all one seamless movement, and they had an exceptional sense of balance in their hands where you didn't know which to attack. Am I attacking his pronation or his cup or his side pressure or his back pressure? It was very difficult to get a groove against any of them. So that's what's kind of technically inspiring me at the moment, is that Istanbul club based on Engin Terzi's style of arm wrestling. Feels phenomenal. So I'm trying to build that into my game at the moment. Yeah.
All right, great answer, great answer. If you could rewrite one match from your career,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
which match would you
It's
rewrite?
easy. It's
Do you
easy.
know? You already know.
Coach Ray. Let's do that one again. I
Coach Red.
didn't.
Was that
I got
King of the Table
belted.
4 or East?
East vs West
East.
4. Yeah, maybe something 4 or 6 or
All right.
something like that. I don't know. But Coach Ray gave me a good lesson that day, and the lesson came in the form of really my weight cut preparation and the way that I got down to the 88 kilos or whatever we met at, and I didn't do that well, and he belted me. He absolutely belted me on the day, and I had nothing for him. So I mismanaged my preparation pretty bad, and I learned that I suck at weight cutting, and I learned that I'm better at just being. I'm more competitive when I just allow my body to be the body weight it is. Because it was only 2 weeks later that I was back at 98 kilos and I beat Bogdan Stoica at Arm Wars. So when my energy returned, I was good again because Bogdan Stoica was someone who was a caliber above Coach Ray in reputation, and I don't know if they've ever faced, but Coach Ray would not be the favorite against Bogdan Stoica at any moment. So to lose to Coach Ray and then 2 weeks later beat Bogdan, kind of confirmed for me, like, okay, stop trying to cut down there. I was just far too dehydrated. I didn't manage it. My energy was all over the shop, and he suitably destroyed me. So I'd love to do that one again in time and get there in a better fashion with the weight. But that's been. I've had so many people on my YouTube and that say, when are you going to do the Coach Ray rematch? I don't think it's ever going to happen because the weight difference is too much. He's a 85 kilo guy. I'm a 105 kilo guy. It's too far to try to meet in the middle. But
Yeah.
look, we get some side table pulling sometime. I'm sure if we're in the same place at the same time, we'll grip up. But yeah, I don't think that match will ever happen again. But that's the only match in my past where I feel like I really didn't show up to the level that I should have.
Yeah. And what's the last time since you guys gripped up? Just in general, like not
When
even.
I faced Schoolboy, Coach Ray and I gripped up left arm there, and we were, from the memory, we were really balanced. No one pinned each other. We were just locked, and we just kind of respected that. Yeah, okay, that's interesting, and let it go
All
from
right, all
there.
right.
But so yeah, but
All
who
right.
knows?
Well, I'm speaking to him tomorrow, so
There you go.
I'll ask him.
Yeah, he'll tell you about it. He destroyed me, and yeah, it was not a good performance by me, but
Yeah.
that is what it is. You learn.
I mean,
You learn.
everyone has seen it, so yeah. But you learn stronger than ever now. So there's a lot of in petto, zoals like we say in the Netherlands. There's a lot in store, a lot in petto.
Yep.
Funnily enough, this is one of the last questions, and you answered it in one of the first sentences. Like, what do you want to be remembered by in the sport? You said never giving
Yeah.
up. So
That is the thing that I'd like to be
yeah.
remembered by. If I didn't start the sport particularly strong, I did start the sport incredibly ambitious. I've managed to tick off a whole heap of my goals, but I would like to also just be exceptionally have a lot of longevity in the sport. I want to. I see Todd Hutchins being a world champion at age 60. I see John Brzenk being amazing at 64 or whatever he is now. I see Ron Barth at 64 still kicking ass. I feel like we're going to see Devon at 70 still at the pointy end, I reckon. I know he's only 50 now, but if Devon is still alive, I would bet that 70-year-old Devon's still in the top bloody 5 in the world or something like that. Like, if you, and
Bleeding
I think,
everybody dry.
yeah, I don't think there's another sport where that's even a remote possibility. So I want to be one of those people that
Yeah.
I want to be one of those old guys that just keeps on getting better. And when I faced Ron Barth, I asked him a question, and it was really cool, his answer. I asked him, when was he at his musculature peak in his career, and when was he at his joint conditioning peak in his career? And he'd been arm wrestling 42 years at the time, and he answered to me that his muscular peak was somewhere in his early 40s, but his joint conditioning peak was right now. And so that showed me that you just keep on getting better in terms of your joint conditioning. You can just lean on your elbow harder and harder and harder as you get older in this sport. And so, I've got visions of being in my 60s and just having an elbow of steel and just still being at it. So
Ripping through everybody.
yeah.
Well, I'd sign to see that. To be honest, I'd sign to see all of the. We have like we're gonna okay. In like 2 decades, we're gonna have like a East versus West 60+ division, and then it's all these old guys, and it's gonna be even bigger than the main event, right? So
Yeah.
you still have like the main event, the
But the
superweight
thing
heavy titles,
is,
and then we got the 60, 70 plus.
there's no other sport where the 60s and 70s can beat the 30s and 40s. But in arm wrestling, it happens.
Like,
That's the thing. Like,
yeah,
it's not
yeah.
it's the 60s club is not a concession where they're worse. No, they're the peak of the sport. Like, yeah, it's phenomenal.
But people do think that. And it's logical because in most sports, that's the case. Like, heck no, a 6-year-old guy is going to be the 28-year-old guy, right? That's not going to happen. Everybody's betting their money on the 28-year-old guy.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
if it was Todd Hutchins versus Irakli, you've lost your freaking money,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
That's,
Yeah, time and time again. So,
yeah.
like I said, Todd is the first time I ever trained with Todd. There was a funny moment where I'll never forget it. We were in Moldova. We were in Moldova on a winery tour, and it was over a cask of wine, a big barrel of wine. Todd and I gripped up, no strap, and he just adopts his posture, no load at all, and says, "Go for it." And I tried to top roll, and I hit into his fingers. They didn't move, and he just giggled. He just started giggling at how pathetic my top roll was. And I thought, oh, no. And then, naturally, if you can't crack his fingers, the only other option to do is to go into a hook with him, which is, you're not going to do well there either. So
They're not gonna,
it
no,
was a
no, no,
moment where
no.
I realized just how badass old man fingers and elbows are. So, yeah.
Oh, gosh. That's probably a sight to be seen if we were present there.
Yeah, it was good fun. Like I said,
at the
in
time.
typical Todd fashion, he literally just giggled out loud at how easy it was to contain my top roll.
He has this really fun giggle as well. Like, it's contagious. It's a really
Yeah,
contagious giggle that he has.
yeah, it is. It is. It's good.
All right, I got one last portion with like 4 questions about Riekerd Bornman because
Yeah,
I interviewed him recently as well, and he told me that he learned quite a bit from you, and you gripped up quite often in the past.
yep.
What do you think? What are your thoughts on Riekerd Bornman as an athlete?
Um, I met Rickard, and I immediately knew he was special. He was in his first. It was his first time really coming to arm wrestling in a training sense. He'd pulled one tournament in South Africa. And he showed me, I remember when he turned up day one at training, he showed me this footage of him pulling a tournament. And I was straight away, I was like, hang on, what the? He showed me footage of, and his first round was Terence Opperman. And in his first round, as a complete novice, untrained, never having arm wrestled before, he has an absolute war with Terence Opperman. And I thought, what the hell? Who does that in their very first arm wrestle? I then gripped him, and I couldn't believe what I was feeling. In the first week, he asked me, Ryan, can I have a casual super match with you? I just want to feel what a ready go feels like. We had a super match, and I beat him 3-2 that day. And I'm a 13-year arm wrestler struggling to beat a 2-week arm wrestler at the time. And I just thought, this is phenomenal. This kid's different. Riekerd is such a nice guy, such a gentleman, such a humble character. I've never met anyone more inspiring in that sense than Riekerd. And he was a student of arm wrestling. He really took time to listen and to apply and believe in himself. Like I consider it a blessing that I was even present to be at his beginning. Like when I felt his hand, I felt many guys with a lot of potential before, and you come across people that are weirdos. But when we came across Riekerd, we thought, hang on, this is more than just a weirdo. This is once he started to put things together in a technical sense, I could no longer feel where his limit was. All of a sudden, it just disappeared. And I'm like, what is going on? You're that strong that you can do this to me already. And this was in his first 6 months in the sport. Once he started getting a year into the sport, he started rolling through Lochner Adair and things like that at the time, and it was not an issue. Then he pulled AWE tournaments and crushed everybody, and it was very clear that something was different. And I sat down with Riekerd, and we had really good chats about things, and we watched The Matrix together. And I said to him, he'd never seen The Matrix, and I couldn't believe he'd never seen The Matrix before. I was like, "What the hell? How have you never
What?
seen The Matrix?" Yeah, so I sat down with Riekerd. We watched The Matrix, and I said at the start of it, I said, "Riekerd, you're Neo, okay? In this movie, you're Neo, and the Matrix represents the arm wrestling world, and like the agent, that's your world title. That's Levan at the end of the day somewhere." And we went through this story, and I said, Trinity is your brother, all right? Trinity represents your brother, and you guys believing together, it's going to come together. And Riekerd was super inspired by that movie then, and thinking of that as his arm wrestling journey. Because when I pulled with him, I genuinely, I'm not lying. I don't think I've ever gripped someone with as much fundamental strength as Riekerd before. I've trained with a lot of people, and I've never felt anyone like him. And he's still so young. He's young, he's clean, he's not on any gear, and he is what he is, and he's still phenomenally getting better. And his brother is evidence of that too, that at 17, he's following in his footsteps.
Oh man.
And those two have the best training condition possible. They love each other so intensely. Their brotherly love is off the charts. They're so strong. Their father was 160 kilo gentleman. I've spoken to their father. He told me that Riekerd's grandfather was 200 kilos. So their genetics are there. Like this is a family that might just take over the sport. As they get better,
Oh,
they might just take over. Like I don't know. Like if Riekerd gets through injury-free over the next 5 years, he's still only in year 3 of his sport. And think about that. He's in year 3, he's clean, and he's still young, and he's already at this level. Add another 5 years to him, and heaven forbid, add enhancement to him as well. What happens then? He is someone that genuinely could be the person that dismantles Levan someday. Could be. They've got the
yeah.
genetic potential that they could turn into it. Levan, if you look at Levan back in 2015, he was 110 kilos in 2015. And yeah, look what he's turned into.
Another decade.
Riekerd's 137 at 137 kilos at 23. And just getting warmed up. So I'm a believer, and I'm totally honored that I got to meet Riekerd at the beginning of this journey. And I think I'll be an enormous fan the whole way along.
So you'd say, like, what time frame would you see him become
Well, he's on a
world
tear, isn't
champion?
he? I don't know who his next super match
Oh
is.
yeah.
I know he called out Jerry Cadorette. Look, if he
Yep.
gets given Jerry Cadorette, like personally in my heart, I think he beats Jerry. I do. As much
Yeah.
as I respect Jerry, I think Riekerd has a game that will beat Jerry. And look, if that happens, then the ladder's getting smaller and smaller. That would put him in the top 10 in the world inside 3 years in the sport. And from there,
That's
the
phenomenal.
sky's the limit. So like I think at the moment he's somewhere on the 7 through to 12 ranks. That would be my guess for Riekerd. And he's just getting warmed up. Add another few years, and Riekerd will become. You will see Riekerd against Devin Larratt at some point in the next 3 to 5 years. I'd be stunned if he doesn't get to that point. He will go. He'll go all the way to the pointy end. Will he make it to the point where he can someday beat Levan? Well, that's a long way still, but I think he'll get very close at some point soon.
And Riekerd even says, like, if I won't become a world champion, Duvon will definitely become a world champion, because that kid is crazy.
The younger brother factor is so cool. Younger brothers usually end up stronger than the older brother. They usually just got a little more. They got something to chase their whole life, and that just adds up over time. And Riekerd will try as hard as he can forever to be ahead of his younger brother. But the day Devon goes past Riekerd, there'll be no one more proud than Riekerd, I'm sure. And those two, I think the prophecy is that Riekerd and Devon are number 1 and 2 in the world at some point in their lives. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's a pretty reasonable bet. It's a pretty reasonable bet. Like, if you had to buy shares in arm wrestlers, if we were all stock market entities, you'd be buying the Bornman brothers for sure.
The Borman brothers stock. Yeah, buy it now and get
Well,
huge profit
I
in
bought it.
in a couple of
I
years.
bought it 3 years ago, so I'm a billionaire now.
You're a billionaire. Oh, yeah, I can't wait to see both of them perform again on the big stage. I hope they actually come to Germany in
Yeah,
April. I
yeah,
think will be great.
yeah.
Is there any chance you're gonna be there, like be at any East versus West East versus
Yeah,
West event anytime soon?
I'm leaning in pretty hard. Robert Baxter, if you're listening, you know where it's at. We need to know who the top ginger is in the world, and I think Germany would be a great place to do it in April. Brad Grundy and I can sort that one out for you. But I would look, even if I don't get called up to the big stage. It's my intent for the betterment of myself and Chetna. We want to experience at least those East First West tournaments. So even if we don't end up
Yeah.
on the main stage, you can expect to see us pulling an East First West tournament and kicking the door down, saying, "Hey, it's time to let us on the main stage," because we're going to keep doing that until we're there. So you'll see us at an East First
Through
West
there.
event.
All right. Awesome. Yeah, I can't wait to meet you in the flesh as well. And yeah, at an East versus West tournament, because I'm gonna be hopefully at most of them.
Nice.
So thank you for your time. This was a great interview. I have a lot of information that I can make great content out of. So yeah, thanks for that. And just keep what you're doing, man. I mean, even if people don't like you or do like you, you're an undeniable force within the sport. And yeah, I can't wait to see you enter the East vs West big stage once more.
Thank you,
Say
Robert.
hi to Chetna from me, and
Will
was
do.
a pleasure having you on the channel.
All right. Thank you very much, man. You take care.